Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Talk of the Town here on mycountylink.com. I'm Alex Warner, along with videographer Nick Schmidt. Tonight, we're out at the Greenville Senior High School Gymnasium, and with us, our special guest, Wave head basketball coach Matt Hamilton. And Matt, it's always exciting. You're going to crank it up here in a few days.
Yeah, it's exciting. We've been waiting for this day since the end of last season, so best time of year.
Yeah. Well, this starts year 4 of the Matt Hamilton reign. So some of these kids now, the seniors you've had all the way through high school, the sophomores all the way your program 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th grade. Right, yeah. So what can we expect from this year's Greenville Ball Club?
You know, with any building a program, we start to see where, especially this summer, we're able to start, instead of implementing new things, we start to develop, what skills we need and, some of the actions we've been running, make different reads and be able to just, start to play basketball versus just learning the offense or learning the sets or things like that, and start to, develop and grow. So, a lot of these guys have now been doing it for 2, 3, 4 years. You start to see the progress of that.
Now, I've been around basketball for a long time. You said actions. We interviewed head coach Shane Hilliard with the girls, and he talked about we get in our set, and then after the initial part, then we go into actions.
Right.
Want to explain actions to people out there, including me?
Yeah, so it's, there's different things where you let the kids just kind of play, so to speak, where maybe you start with, a down screen from the wing to the short corner area, and then the guy pops up to be a shooter, or maybe there's a different zoom action, which is called, where you go from a down screen into a dribble handoff, and then you flip sides of the floor. Just things to, create some movement, create ball movement, create spacing and things like that to make the defense move. We don't want to let the defense just stay on one half of the floor and make them look really good because we're not doing anything with the ball. So, we got a lot of talent, a lot of different ways we can play this year, so it lets the kids kind of do that and be themselves.
Okay, so this year, then, you say you've got a lot of different ways to play. I know you've got 3 seniors coming back that are going to play a lot for you, some juniors also that have had varsity experience. So you've got kids with some varsity experience. So let's talk a little bit about what kind of offense you want to run here then, and then defensively what we're going to look like.
Yeah, so we've got different motion sets that we're going to use and incorporate those type of actions into those where, with our roster this year, we've got the ability where we can play big, we can play small, we can play a combination of that, and then different, based on who's in the game, maybe what that matchup for the night is. Maybe we're able to take advantage of our size or, take advantage of speed or whatever it may be, that we can put some guys inside, we can play the inside out game. So I think we're going to be able to have some, different looks and different nights where based on that matchup.
I know you got Johnny Barr in the middle, of course. And who else do you have then with size? I know you got Dave Conway, Ethan Flatter. You got Michael McMahon as well as then Isaac Kurd.
Right. Yep.
Where's the rest of the size?
So we got Johnny Barr, we got Conway, Landon Noble's playing real well right now. And he's definitely kind of a true back to the basket type post player where Johnny Barr and Conway are kind of a little bit more of maybe elbow, be able to square somebody up and take them to the basket type of thing. And then with Kurg and McMahon, Gigi Jim, Ethan Flatter, there's a lot of guys that can bring some perimeter shooting for us. Lucas Thorpe's back with us this year, so he brings some athleticism, especially on the defensive end, that we can get some opportunities there. So I'm really excited for our roster.
Yeah. So defensively, then we're going to go man, zone. Depends on who the matchup is, or what.
Yeah, we're going to be primary man. Last couple years we've kind of bounced around a little bit, depending on like last year I went into the year kind of thinking we're going to be more zone, and with the guys we had last year, kind of more man. So we've been focusing on man-to-man. We always start with a man-to-man foundation. Because if you can't play man, you're not going to play a good zone anyway. So we start with that, and then based on how we're playing, we'll make adjustments.
So who's going to run the point guard for you, Doc?
So we'll have Kurg will be, he'll be the starting one, and then Gigi Jim can come in there, run it. We got a couple options at 1, and then then from there 2, 3 can be interchangeable with some guys. 4, 5 can be interchangeable. So.
Okay, and then defensively, we're going to have any full court pressure or trapping out of this man-to-man, or what do you anticipate there?
Let me tell all my secrets for the year. So.
Well, I just hope you know.
Yeah, no, the last several years, especially at the JV and freshman level, we've started putting that in. As I've, like I said, year 4, I've wanted to continue to put in my style of play that I can coach to. So that's been something that now that these guys have been doing it for 2 or 3 or even their 4th year, that now, we have some confidence to be able to do that. So we can put some full court pressure on you. We're doing the same thing year in, year out, so we can start to build on it, start that repetitiveness of them knowing what they're doing. So, definitely we'll be able to see more of that this year.
Yeah, that's one good thing about continuity. And continuity on your staff.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I couldn't ask for better staff. I mean, between, Jim Gable at JV and Dennis Light, of course, right there with me. Randall Bowman's been with me ever since I started doing youth basketball. Yeah. And then I got Noah Van Horn as our freshman coach this year. So, it's really good to have somebody who is, part of the program playing for us to come back now and invest in the kids.
Now, down at the lower levels in 7th and 8th grade, who's our coaches down there this year?
Yep. So got Pat McMahon back at the 7th grade level. And then Amber Short has stepped up, and she's going to be she's going to be, so she brings, a lot of basketball knowledge and experience as well. So, she's going to be a real good fit for us there.
Okay. And we're going to run the same stuff starting through 7th grade. I mean, I know you got your youth program started. When does your youth program start? What grade level?
So I'm actually, for the second year, we're starting down, we have a kindergarten through 2nd grade where we just, an hour a week, they just get in the gym, they play dribble tag or whatever, just have fun and get in the gym and start loving the game of basketball. 3rd and 4th grade, we start doing a 3-on-3, I call it a development league, where they just kind of start to learn how to play, how to dribble, how to shoot, all the fundamentals they need to learn and have fun doing it. Like a lot of sports we talk about here, we just got to get more kids playing sports, so they got to want to do it early.
Yeah, there aren't any 6'8" kids wandering the halls right now, are there?
Unfortunately not.
Unfortunately not. Let's talk just a little bit then. In the league, we know the league's going to be tough. We know who's going to be the top 2 or 3 teams that we're going to have to deal with, and then the rest of the league.
Yeah. TIP's a program that we all look at, obviously, for, they set the standard. It's a program that I look at to, as we talk about, building a youth program, building that middle school program where it's a feeder coming up where year in, year out, you start to know what you're doing. So, their program, and then, Butler's always going to be tough. Troy's, most of the league is going to have, athletes and going to have guys that can play basketball. And so, it's just, it's encouraging every year. Last year we didn't obviously win as many games as we like, but we were much more competitive. And so this year, we're really looking to get over that hump and win some games.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize how tough it is, that double round robin. When you're playing 18 league games against really strong programs, that's tough.
It is. With boys basketball, even though it's, may not be a lot of skill, there's just athleticism and size and things that obviously come into play. And so, we're starting to match up. We're starting to be where we can play with that. So really excited.
Well, we're taping this on the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, and I know your first game has already been postponed because Tip City's Red Devils are in the state semifinals in football, so that game's been moved back, I assume, till after the first of the year at least. We've got Arcanum coming in here.
Yeah, excited for that game like always. Coach Brackman and I have gotten a good relationship over the years, and he's got a good program going, and so we're excited for that matchup. Talking to him over the summer, it's just a thing that the county pride that I kind of grew up in. That you want to come and you want to have a good, fun, competitive environment, and we're going to have that.
Yeah, and I heard they have another player or two that showed up, right?
Yeah, they did.
Well, yeah, this has been head coach Matt Hamilton here in the Greenville Wave boys basketball team, and good luck. Let's get things rolling here. We're going to kick it off here in 72 hours or so.
Yep, we're ready. Let's go.
Okay, thanks for joining us. I'm Alex Warner along with Nick Schmidt. Thanks for joining us here at Talk of the Town. Matt Hamilton, head coach here at Greenville High School. We'll see you folks on our next episode. So long, everybody.